record to this. All right. Good afternoon. Officially welcome to our Friday afternoon 30-minute yoga class. Today we are going to be focusing on building a strong back. We're going to actually do a slow flow practice today. And so we're just going to take it nice and easy and work on building some functional strength in our core and stability for the back. Everything is connected, and tight hamstrings, tight hip flexors do contribute to low back pain. So we'll work on releasing the hips and the hamstrings as usual. Y'all know that's one of my favorite things to do. Let me know, give me a quick thumbs up if you will, or let me know in the chat if the music sounds okay. Can you hear it? Take no response. Okay, I got a thumbs up. Thank you so much. All right, so go ahead and lay down on your back. We're going to start from a supine position. And like I said earlier, if you have a strap, you're going to want that. If you don't have a strap, grab a necktie, grab a belt, grab a towel, something that you can wrap around your foot, and then just place that in a nice handy spot. And just lay all the way down on your back. And then if you will, just bring your hands to your belly. Oh, here comes Wendy. And then from here, we're going to start to just bring our awareness, our attention to the breath. Go ahead and just inhale, fill up, and feel your belly rise as you inhale. Maybe pressing your belly into the hands, really trying to exaggerate that. And then exhale, release, let it fall. Keep breathing in this way and notice your points of contact as you're lying flat on your back. You should feel support from the ground right beneath the back of your head, and then on your shoulders, and then the low back and the glutes, the butt, all the way down to your calves. What you may notice is that there's a little bit of space underneath your cervical spine, underneath the neck, and then there may be a little space here as well underneath your lumbar spine. And so that's totally normal. We're going to work with that a little bit today. All right. On your next breath in, reach your arms up over the top of the head. And then as you exhale, we're going to draw our knees into the chest here and just hug them in. And we'll make some circular rotations. I want you to keep both of your knees together here. And we're just going to rotate to the right, just little circles with the knees. Rotate to the right. And then shift in the opposite direction, rotating to the left. Good. Then one more big hug in. Pull your head toward your knees here, round the back. And then go ahead and release your left foot to the floor. You're going to bring your strap into your hand. We're going to wrap it around the ball of the right foot. So not the arch of the foot or the heel, just around the ball of the foot. You can leave this left leg bent. And if your hamstrings are tight, that's going to help to support your back. All right. And allow you to really extend this leg a little bit more. Now you can start to move that leg out and extend it if it feels right. If it doesn't, just leave that knee bent. You're going to pull here to a point of tension, but not pain, right? So inhaling and exhaling. And you can just close your eyes for this section of class as well. We're going to take it slow today. Intentional movement. And then from here, make sure that you have the strap in your right hand. We're going to let the leg fall out to the right side. Bring your left hand to your hip. And you want to keep that left hip grounded, just really nice and rooted down toward the floor. We don't want to overstretch here because we're just getting started. Just creating some space in the hips. All right, then from here, we're going to keep that strap, move it back toward the center, and you're going to switch sides. But we're going to try to keep our right hip grounded on the floor. So you're not going to take your foot past your shoulder But as you move this foot across the side body, you're going to feel an intense opening through your IT band, through that right outer part of your hip. Again, you can keep your eyes or keep closing your eyes if it feels good, just to really tune into the body. I'm taking this opportunity, this lunch class break, just to get out of the head and really feel physical sensations. Come back to center and then release the strap. Go ahead and bend your left leg. We're going to cross the right leg over the left for a supine pigeon pose. You can stay here. I want you to think about energetically pushing your knee toward I don't know what's in front of you because I can't see you. Push it toward whatever's in front of you. You can maybe even just push a little pressure into using your hand into that knee, opening up through that hip. All right, then we'll reach around, pull that left leg in a little closer if it's appropriate. No obligation to do any of this. All should feel nice and supportive. Everybody's body's going to be able to do different things, and that's okay. Stop where you feel the discomfort, like you've just taken it a little too far. Sometimes we can do that in all aspects of life. All right, go ahead and place that left foot back to the floor. And then we're going to take and just windshield wiper, but you're leaving that right leg on top of the knee. You're going to windshield wiper over to the right side, adding a twist. And with that foot on top of your left knee, left thigh, you can press down and just really get a nice opening through this left side body. Take a couple more breaths here. And come back to center. Release. Go ahead and place your right foot to the floor. Bring your strap back into your hands. Wrap it around your left foot, ball of the left foot. Pulling in just to that point of mild discomfort. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, you're looking for about a 6 here. We're not pushing it all the way to a 10 as far as we can go. But it's not at a 1 where we're not feeling anything either. So we're right in the middle. Go ahead and extend your right leg out if that's appropriate. Close your eyes. Continue that diaphragmatic breathing. Remember that the breath is creating, when we control and regulate the breath, it can help us to reset our nervous system. It helps to regulate the blood pressure and really all of our bodily functions. Everything's integrated with the breath. All right, let's take the right hand to the hip, bring the strap into your left hand, and just let it open up out to your side, out to the side of your body, toward the left side of your body. And know that everyone's gonna, again, look different in this pose depending on your hip mobility. Try to let go of expectations and comparison. Just be where you are today. I want you to feel really good going into the weekend with a strong back, open hips. Go ahead and come back to center. We're gonna bring the strap into the right hand, bring your left hand to your hip. And then again, we're not really going far past the shoulder here. We're keeping the left hip grounded, and this is opening up that whole left side of the body. Diaphragmatic breath. Take one more. And let's release that. Bring your right foot back to the floor. Cross your left leg over the right for that supine pigeon pose. We're going to reach around. If appropriate, grab the right thigh, energetically pushing your left knee toward whatever's in front of you. You can use your hand. You can leave that foot to the floor. If your hips are tight, this may be plenty. got to teach an in-person class yesterday at the Barbara Jordan building. It was my first time teaching an in-person class in the Capitol complex since before COVID. It was wonderful. We had about 15 people show up. Go ahead and release your right foot back to the floor. And then from here, we're going to put the pressure from your right foot into that, from your left foot into your right knee, and then take your twist here. And I can feel, for me, a huge difference on this side from the other side. Yoga helps us to know our body, to understand those differences, and then really to help kind of even out some of these imbalances. Come on back to center, release that. Let's bring both these into the chest, start to rock front to back, come up to take a seat, and all the way through onto hands and knees. Bring your wrists underneath the shoulders and your knees underneath the hips. Let's take a couple rounds of cat-cow here. Inhale, tilting your head and tailbone, and then we'll exhale, round the upper back like a cat. Inhale and exhale. Check all your fingers out. Press down into all of your finger pads. Align your wrist creases with the front of your mat. And then turn your elbows toward the back of the room. I've heard instructors call the inside of your elbows the eyes of your elbows. Turn the eyes of your elbows toward the front of the room. All right, let's take our right foot toward the back of the mat. Press your foot into the floor, toes into the floor, and then the heel toward the floor. Shift forward and back. Forward and back. Take one more forward, press it back. Now lift that right leg up and back. Strong through the glutes, reach your left hand out like you're gonna shake somebody's hand, thumb up toward the ceiling. Stabilizing here. If you feel wobbly in this position, the really amazing thing about the human body is it will adapt to it. After you do this a few times, you'll feel that wobbliness go away. And that's a great indicator that you're making a mind-body connection, training the nervous system. Go ahead and release your left hand, release your right knee. Take your left foot to the back of the mat, press your heel toward the floor, and then rock it forward. Press it toward the floor, and rock it forward. Take one more, press it back, and then shift forward. And then when you're ready, lift that left foot up and back. Feel the strength of your glutes here and the strength of your back. When you're ready, reach your right hand out on the other side. Thumb up to face the ceiling, externally rotating the head of that shoulder. Turn your gaze down to the floor so we have a nice long neck and spine. Take one more breath. Release your right hand, release your left knee. Go ahead and tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back, making your way into your first downward facing dog. Pedal your feet here. Right heel and the left heel. Hopefully this downward dog feels pretty good because we spent quite a bit of time opening those hamstrings. Let's go ahead and bend both knees and then really exaggerate that tilt of the tailbone toward the ceiling. So finding that curvature in the lumbar spine, that natural curve in the lumbar spine, keeping that and then starting to press your heels toward the floor. It's okay that the heels may not reach the floor. It's more important that we manage the integrity of the spine than get the heels to the floor here. Let's shift forward, make our way to plank position, and then exhale, dropping down to the floor. First with the knees, and then just taking your time all the way down onto the belly. Then from here, we're gonna bring our big toes together, lift the feet off the floor. Then lift your hands off the floor, feeling the strength of your whole back. Again, look down at the floor, lengthen through the spine. And then if you wanna make this a little bit more advanced, go ahead and reach out. Extend your arms over the top of the head. Feel the strength of the spine. Take one more breath and then bring them back in. Tuck your toes. We're going to press up and back. Downward facing dog. All right, from here, let's shift forward, plank position. Exhale, lower all the way to the mat. You can use your knees if you need to, or just lower down. And then from here, we're gonna come into a Sphinx pose. So we'll come up onto the forearms. And what I want you to focus on, I talk a lot, and I know y'all, if you've been in my class for a while, you've heard me cue hips to ribs. So we're gonna work on hips to ribs in this position. And what that's gonna do is gonna help strengthen the core and stabilize the back. All right, so just lifting your belly off the mat and then lifting the upper part, lifting your pelvis off the mat, you're gonna start to feel your hips actually move toward your ribs. So you're shortening that space. And then just relax, release it. Let the belly fall back to the floor. Open up through the chest here. Good, now tuck the tailbone again. Squeeze the glutes, lift the belly, lift the pelvis off the floor. Maybe you feel a little shaking here. And then release that. Pull the heart more toward the front of the room. Like you're dragging your forearms backwards. Open up through the chest and stretch the belly. Let's take that one more time. Lift. Pull the hips toward the ribs. And then from here, we're gonna make this a little more advanced. Try to keep your pelvis so steady. We're gonna start to lift the right foot and the left foot. Just one at a time without allowing any rotation or movement of the pelvis. Right foot and then the left foot. I don't know about you guys, but my core is burning right now. Take one more on each side. These are not huge movements, but they are working really great muscular endurance. Go ahead and release, relax that. Pull your heart through one more time, stretch through the belly. Good. Lower all the way down. From here, let's bring our knees out to the edges of the mat and then rock all the way back into a wide leg child's pose. Press your hips back. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. Rise up. Downward facing dog. Go ahead and step your feet to the top of the mat, making your way to a forward fold. Let your head hang heavy, release, relax, let go. Can we let go of something that is not helpful right now, something that's not serving us? Press down into your feet, bring your hands to your hips, rise all the way up to standing. All right, then from here, I'd like you to bring your thumb to the lower part of your ribs and then bring your first finger to the top of your hips. Now I want you to feel this, pulling your hips toward your ribs, just tucking your tailbone under. It's pretty subtle. You may not even be able to see me doing it. You should feel this space getting closer between your thumb and your hip. And then release it. Pull it in. Engage the core and release. Good, we'll just take two more. Two, release, and one more. Let it go. All right, let's raise the arms up over the top of the head. Swan dive down, folding forward. You may want to bring your blocks with you on this journey we're gonna take. Hands are coming to the outer edges of the feet. Step your right foot back. Go ahead and drop your back knee to the floor. Rise up into your low lunge. All right, let's bring the hands back to your hips. Feeling that first finger on the upper part of your hip bone on the iliac crest, and then your thumb is on your ribs. All right, now here, draw your hips toward your ribs. And then release it. Relax. Draw it in. Release, relax. Good, take one more, draw it in. Just a little pelvic tilt goes a long way. Go ahead and bring your left hand to your hip, reach your right arm across. These are subtle movements that you can add into all of our classes. I do these same movements a lot. We're just slowing it down today, really working on form, technique, and muscular endurance. Bring your right hand to your block or to the floor. We're gonna add a rotation here. Twist and rotate. Turn your gaze up toward the ceiling. And then let's go ahead and bend the right leg, that leg that's back behind you, and you can grab that foot for a deep quad stretch. If you can't reach your foot, you can lasso your foot with your strap, with your tie, whatever you have, your towel, and you can pull it in that way. A couple more breaths here. Go ahead and release. Release your strap, release your bind. Tuck your back to under, lift that back knee off the floor, rise up, high lunge. Same thing here, bring your thumb to the ribs, your first finger to the top of your hip bone. Tuck that hip toward the ribs, tailbone down, and then release and relax it. Tuck it in and release. Good, take one more. And release. Bring your left hand to your hip. Your right arm's gonna reach across the midline. Focus flow today. Take one more breath. And then we'll release the right hand to the floor or to the block. Taking rotation here. Good, then go ahead and take your left hand to the hip. We're gonna hop the back, or not hop it, but step the back foot forward just a little bit. So you're in a pyramid leg pose. We're gonna rotate and twist here. Notice if your right hip started to dip down. See if you can lift your hips so that they're in line. Take one more breath. Good, press down into both feet. Let's rise up to stand. And then from here, we're gonna transition into our balancing pose today. We're gonna do a figure 4 balancing chair. So you're gonna bring your right foot across the left, and then you can just sit back into that posture. If you wanna make this more stretchy, more hip opening, you can bring your blocks out in front of you. If you wanna make it more balance challenge, just leave your hands off the floor, off the blocks. Wherever you are, go ahead and rise up to stand. Release your right foot to the floor. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, swan dive down, fold forward. Bring your hands to the outer edges of your feet. Step your left foot way back. Go ahead and drop your back knee to the floor. Grab your blocks if you need them. Rise up into your lunge, and then bring your hands again to the ribs and the hips. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, release, relax. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, release. Good, let's take one more. Exhale, bring it in. Hold that, bring your right hand to your hip, reach across the midline. And then from here, we'll bring our left hand to the mat or to the block. You're gonna bend your left foot, reach back, grab your foot with your hand. Have that rotation. That feels like too much, you can just stay right here in the rotation. If you need your strap, grab it. One more breath. And then we'll release that foot. Bring your right hand back to the floor. Tuck your back toe under. Lift your back knee off the mat. Rise up, high lunge. Good, bringing those hands back to the hips and the ribs. Exhale. Tailbone tucks. Hips come toward the ribs. Inhale, open up. Exhale, draw it under. Inhale, open. Good, exhale, hips to ribs. Hold on, reach across the midline. And then from here, we'll bring our left hand to the mat or to the block. I'm gonna use my block here. Twist and rotate to the right. We try to hold these poses for 3 to 5 breaths in a slow flow class. So if you're looking for something to pay attention to or focus on, just focus on the breath. Slow it down. All right, let's bring the right hand to the hip. We're gonna pull the left foot forward just a little bit, coming into our pyramid stance. So both legs are straight here. And then left hand is on the block. You're gonna be on fingertips or on the floor and start to rotate, twist. Notice how your left tip may wanna dip down. Try to pull it back in line so that we could lay a tray of drinks on our back and we wouldn't turn them over. Take one more breath here. Release, rise up to stand on both feet. All right, from here, we're gonna shift into our balancing pose. So you're gonna bring all your weight into your right foot, cross your left foot over, and then we sit back into our one leg chair pose. You can bring your hands together. You can bring your hands to your shin bone. You can come down deeper, bring your hands to the blocks or to the floor. If you do have your hands at the blocks or the floor, try to wrap your toes around your triceps. Really press into the triceps. You're gonna feel more deeply opening in the hip on that left side. All right, go ahead and rise up to stand. Release that foot, inhale, lift. Let's bring our feet out a little bit wider than the mat's distance and then drop down into a sumo squat. Elbows are gonna come to the inner thighs. I realize that this posture requires a lot of mobility in the hips, the knees, and the ankles. So if you're feeling any sort of limitations in those areas, injuries, feel free just to come into a less intense variation, right? You wanna listen to the body. All right, wherever you are, we're gonna come down to our mat. So you can bring your hands back behind you. Just for a little bit more core work today, we're gonna lower down to the floor. And then from here, bring your femur bones so they're perpendicular to the floor. Just gonna bring your legs into a 90-degree angle. And then from here, press your spine into the floor, your low back into the floor. You can bring your hands back to the hips and ribs. And that's the action we're going for. Pull in so that your hips are toward the ribs. Now lift the head and the shoulders off the mat. And then from here, we're gonna inhale, pulse the arms for 5, and then turn the hands over for 5 for exhale. So inhale and exhale. I like to breathe through my mouth with these. Exhale. Keep going. Exhale. Take 2 more. Last one. Good. Go ahead and release the feet to the floor. Lift your hips up into bridge pose. And then if you have a block, go ahead and slide that block underneath for a supported bridge pose. And in this posture, just start to feel your body relax. Let go of controlling the breath. You need a windshield wiper your knees side to side. Go ahead and do that. You want to take any other posture so you can be still for a few minutes. Go for it. Another great option here is to lift the legs straight up in the air, especially since our hamstrings are so open now. You can lift your legs straight up and maybe straighter up in the air. And this is also super supportive for the low back. Putting the legs up on a wall or over the side of your bed if you have low back pain. This is always a really nice way. I wouldn't say always, but it can be a really nice way to soothe low back pain. Let your eyes close if you're comfortable closing them. Just take a couple more breaths here. Feel that belly rise and fall. And then we're just gonna let our feet slowly float, make their way back to the floor. We'll lift the hips and then lower them, remove the block. Walk your legs out back into Shavasana where we started, our nice, easy relaxation pose. Turn your palms up to face the ceiling. Notice your points of contact. Feel the ground supporting you. Know that you can release tension here. Relax the jaw, the brow, the eyes, the muscles on the crown of the head, the back of the head, the neck, the shoulders, and your arms all the way down through the tips of your fingers. Relaxing your chest and your back, your hips. That did so much work for you today. Your legs all the way down, the tips of the toes. Before we rise up today, I encourage you just to send a little gratitude to your physical body for the amazing things that it was able to do today. When you have, or if you're ready, you can stay here if you want, but if you're ready, go ahead and make your way into a sideline position. We'll just roll over. You can stay here just for a moment, gather yourself, and then press up all the way to take a seat. Crisscross your legs. Let's bring our hands down to the lap, palms turn up to face the ceiling. Let's take 3 cleansing breaths together with big audible exhales. Inhale deeply, fill up. Exhale a big sigh. Inhale, deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Take one more in. And exhale. Thank you so much for joining me for this slow flow focus on the back class. I hope to see you next week. I'll be back and we'll do something different, but hopefully you can incorporate some of this hips to ribs work in all of our future classes.
Staying in charge with